Every spring, thousands of homeowners think that they're going to put their home on the market and this is going to be their year. And every spring, thousands of those homes end up sitting. Days on market stack up, price drops happen, and ultimately, sellers end up walking away with less money than they could have had in the first place, or not selling at all. I've been a licensed real estate appraiser and a listing agent for the past 23 years. That means I've seen deals fall apart on both sides of the table. And I can tell you that most times, it's always the same mistakes. So today I'm going to walk you through exactly why your home might not sell this spring and what you can do to change that before ever hitting the listing button. Let's get into it. 6 reasons homes stall in the spring market. Some are going to be obvious to you, some might surprise you, all of them are fixable. All right, the number 1 reason homes don't sell during the spring is price, full stop. If you don't price the property right in the first week, buyers are going to move on to the next one. We're in a market where we have a lot of inventory showing up really quick in the spring market. So as inventory increases, buyers have their pick, and if you're not priced right correctly, they're just going to move on to the next one that is. I know you put a lot into your house. I know you know what the neighbor sold for 2 years ago, but we're dealing with today's market. None of that matters to the buyer that's standing in your kitchen right now. And it definitely doesn't matter to the appraiser who's going to come through and do the value opinion in a few weeks when you get it under contract. Here's something most agents aren't going to tell you because they never sat in the chair that the appraiser has. Pricing your home isn't just about attracting buyers. It's about surviving the appraisal. I've been on the appraisal side of a deal where the seller got a strong offer, went under contract, popped the champagne. And then the appraisal came in below what the offer was, because it wasn't worth that in the first place. Deals fall apart, momentum gone, and you're back on the market. That is an incredibly painful way to learn this lesson. After 23 years of appraising, I know exactly how an appraiser is going to look at your home under contract, what comps they'll pull, what adjustments they'll make, and what condition issues are going to hurt your value. That's the lens I look through when I price a listing. Not what you need out of the sale, not what feels good, what the market and the appraisal process will actually support. So what to do? Get a real comparative market analysis from an agent who knows what to do, who knows about value, not just an automated Zillow estimate. Look at what's sold in the last 30, 60, and 90 days. Not what is listed, but what's sold. And make sure whoever is advising you, that they know how appraisers think and not just how buyers shop. Spring buyers are optimistic. They show up with high expectations. And the fastest way to kill a deal is if a house looks like it hasn't been touched in 15 years. I'm not talking about a full renovation. I'm just talking about the basics that sellers tend to overlook over year over year after living in their home. Paint, scuffed walls, dated colors, anything worn, repaint it. Neutral tones, costs a few $100, but it gives such a change in how a home will photograph and looks to new buyers. Curb appeal. You have about 10 seconds the moment a buyer pulls up. So if you have old shrubbery, grass looking a little dry, worn out, weeds, take care of it. Deferred maintenance. And this one I want to be direct about because I've seen it from the appraiser side. Dripping faucets, cracked outlet covers, utilities that don't work. Buyers notice these things, but more importantly, appraisers do too. I've personally had to flag condition issues or health and safety issues on appraisals for things that sellers could have fixed for $50 before even listing the home. Those flags affect value, and they can also trigger subject to conditions on loans. So get something like that fixed quick, fast, and easy before you list the property. The buyer's comparing homes on a Saturday afternoon. Pick the one that it feels move-in ready. Make sure that is your home. The first showing is online, every time. Before any buyer steps foot in your home, they've already decided whether they're going to visit or not based on the photos that are used online. Here's something sellers never considered. Appraisers also pull those photos from online for their work file. Dark, cluttered, unflattering photos don't just cost you buyer traffic. They become permanent record of what your home looks like at the time of sale. That's not something most agents are going to tell you, But after 23 years of pulling interior photos of comparable sales and listing data, I can tell you it matters. Hire a professional photographer. It might cost you $150 to sometimes $1,000 depending on your market area, but it is well worth it. It is the highest ROI thing you can spend your money on before you list. Bright, wide angle, beautiful photos make the buyer want to walk through your door. If your agent isn't providing access to professional photos, that's a problem. Which leads me to the next big mistake. Not all agents are created equal, and spring is not the time to find out. The listing agent's job is to price strategically, market it aggressively, negotiate well, and guide you through the entire process, including the appraisal, without leaving money on the table. What I bring that most agents can't is 23 years of sitting on the other side of the table as a certified appraiser. I know how value is determined by the people that the lenders are sending out to actually do the valuations. When I list your home, I'm not just thinking about getting you an offer. I'm thinking about getting you to the closing table. Those are not the same things. Watch out for agents who take any listing at any price just so they can have your listing. They'll tell you what you want to hear just to come back in 3 weeks and ask for a price reduction. That delay is costing you money. The best offers come typically in the first 2 weeks of being on the market. Ask any listing agent for their list to sales price ratio, their average days on market, and the number of homes sold, and then compare those to the current market data. They should give you all of these numbers, and if they don't, that's a problem. Mistake number 5, showing problems. This one surprises people, but it kills deals regularly. Buyer schedules are unpredictable. If your home is hard to show, restricted hours, too much notice required, pets that need to be removed, an owner who insists on being present, buyers will just skip it and go see another one. I've watched sellers lose buyers simply because they couldn't accommodate a same-day showing. The buyer moved on, made an offer on the next house they saw, and that was it. Make your home as easy to access as possible. Use a lockbox. Be flexible. Have a plan for your pets. Every barrier you have for a showing may be the reason why you don't get an offer. Before you list this spring, you need to know exactly what you're competing against. Other sellers are listing right now, and buyers are going to be comparing those homes to yours. And here's what my appraisal background can add to the conversation. I'm not just looking at the competition as a buyer will. I'm also looking at it as an appraiser will down the road when they're looking at sales that are going to compete against yours to come up with financing to buy your home. If the comparable sales in your neighborhood don't support the value, then it doesn't matter what the buyer's willing to pay for your house. The deal can still fall apart at the appraisal. So your agent should walk you through both, not only what a buyer's willing to pay right now in the market, but what an appraiser can support down the road when they're looking to close the sale. Know both sides and price with both in mind. Spring can be a fantastic time to sell. Demand is real, buyers are motivated, and well-prepared homes are still moving fast. But the market rewards sellers that show up ready. Price it right from day one and price it so that it survives the appraisal. Get the home ready, invest in photography, work with the right agent. Make your home easy to see and know your competition. If this was helpful, please subscribe. I put out straightforward real estate content every week. And if you're thinking about listing your home this spring and you want to talk about your specific situation, reach out. The link is in the description. I'll see you on the next one.